this room has some level of knowledge about and some not. So what I'm talking about is one-to-one. Who remembers when one-to-ones were called dance cards? A few people. Now, if you were asked to join a group and start doing dance cards, I don't know what your impression would be of what that group is. But we changed the name to call it a one-to-one. And what it is, for those of you that are visiting today, is when you're a member of BNI, and even if you've left a BNI group and you've gone on, you still do these because they are very helpful. A one-to-one is when you call up somebody in the group and you say, I'd like to meet with you one-on-one outside of our regularly scheduled meeting. BNI suggests that first you meet at one person's place of business, because that way you might be able to get a mini tour, get an idea of how they work with customers, clients, and each other in the office. You get to meet some of the other staff people. So first, try to meet at one person's place of business. If that doesn't work for either of you, meet at a coffee shop, meet at, let's see, one of the, I think it was Barb and Michelle, they went out and walked dogs on the boardwalk, so they got a good hour of exercise, health and wellness, but also doing the one-to-one. So now when you meet one-on-one, the purpose of this is to learn as much as you can about each other's business. And you want to split the time evenly. We are all Minnesota nice, right? The person's talking, it gets to 35, 40 minutes, and they're still talking about themselves. It's really hard to say, okay, switch. I need to talk about my business. So what you can do, if it helps, is set a timer right at the beginning. Okay, let's set a time. Because otherwise, you might be talking about the snowstorm that's coming for 15 minutes, and now you've burned up each other's time. So when you get together outside of the regularly scheduled meeting to do a one-to-one, you want to spend half hour talking about one person's business and a half hour on the other. Don't forget a critical part to this. This is just like when we stand up and do our presentations each week, and that is ask for business. So instead of just saying, my company is this, we sell this, I'm looking at these markets, and my sales goal is this, and I work Monday through Friday. Instead of just spending time on that, don't forget to say, gosh, if you could get me connected with some HR directors in the healthcare industry, but also in shipping, that would be something specific that you're asking for. Don't forget to do that part, because we often forget to ask for business. But that's the purpose of this one-to-one, is to not only share more about what you do, but also get the ask out there. Another thing that you can do is ask the person across from you during this one-to-one, what do you have questions about? You've met me in BNI. I've been standing up every week for 30 or 60 seconds talking about my business. What are you wondering? I have gotten some of the greatest ideas for commercials each week from one-to-ones, because people will tell me, well, I didn't know you did that. Why don't you talk about that in BNI? So one-to-ones are a great way to get to know each other, get to know about each other's business, find out what that person is looking for, and then help them with referrals. So, okay, that's one-to-ones. I want to do a quick exercise of just raising your hand. Raise your hand if you've done a one-to-one in the last year. All right. If you've done one in the last 6 months. The last 3 months. I have to put my hand down. The last 2 months. The last month. The last 3 weeks. Oh, they're going down. The last 2 weeks.
Lindsay, going out drinking does not count.
Right. Happy hour gatherings. That's questionable. And the last week. Who's got one in the last week? Okay, good. Good. Okay. So you get an idea that these things can start to drift away from our calendars. Some of our businesses are busy, very busy during certain quarters of the year, certain seasons. So I understand if you're not doing one-to-ones certain times throughout the year. But if it's been 3 to 6 months since your last one, we gotta do more one-to-ones. So you looked around the room, you saw who wasn't doing those. I'd love for you guys to schedule a one-to-one before you leave. A quick thing, I've heard, what if 4 or 5 of us get together and we all have coffee, and then that'll be like our one-to-one.
No.
No, we don't want to do that. There is a purpose for having the structured one-on-one time, especially at a person's place of business, as opposed to a coffee shop or a bar or the boardwalk or wherever. So all networking is good networking, but let's get really effective and efficient with those one-to-ones at a person's place of business. So look around the room. If you haven't been to someone's company, schedule a one-to-one. And by the way, I'm looking because I haven't done one in 3 months. So that's my education. Oh, question.
No, pick me.
Oh, Lindsay. All right, we got a one-to-one.